How you doing out there, everybody? This is Crypto Stew. I wanted to talk about an article, a video made by Crypto Investor. He's one of my favorite guys. I only discovered him recently, but I've gone over some of his old videos. He did this great review of Polymath that I highly recommend everyone watch. But I mean, he has 150,000 followers and I have one, so I'm not really worried about promoting for this guy. But he wrote this video here, why Bitcoin is still a bubble. And I wanted to say that I couldn't disagree more. Or I disagree with his presentation. The reason I disagree is his main argument appeared to be that Bitcoin and most of the altcoins currently aren't being used for what they're intended to be used for. And therefore, and their valuations are so high that it's clearly a bubble that will eventually burst. Um, the easiest comparison to make is the dot-com bubble. Um, when the dot-com bubble burst, first of all, the fact that there is a bubble means that you're really onto something. There were bubbles in a lot of industries. The railroad industry had a bubble. The car industry had a bubble. The dot-coms had a bubble. That's when you have an innovative technology, there's going to be irrational exuberance at the beginning stages that eventually levels out. Um, but the dot-com bubble bursting was an 86% decline from the heights to the low, I believe, or right around there. And we just saw a 70% decline in the overall crypto markets. That would be a bubble bursting, wouldn't it? I mean, that's more than just a correction. So this idea that it's a bubble that's going to burst implies when you're saying that when the market cap has already gone down 60%, you're implying that it's going to go damn near zero, which I think is incredibly irresponsible and also not true. And I also disagree with the premise that a lot of these coins aren't doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, I could point at Monero, which is a privacy coin, and it provides privacy. And whatever price it's at, I think it's about 200 bucks now. Monero provides the ability to transfer value anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world with completely untraceable. I think that has a lot of value. I mean, in the future, when this has more adoption, I think at least 1 out of every 1,000 people, 1 out of every 500 people will find some use for Monero. Figuring an average usage of anywhere from $500 to $2,000, Monero is very underpriced considering its potential. Now, those are just numbers I'm estimating out of its use case, but it's doing it now. And as for the example, his main point was Bitcoin saying, well, it's supposed to be a currency and you can't use it as a currency. And he used the example of KFC Canada, and they just accepted Bitcoin as a promotional stunt. Yeah, um, but imagine the hell that would be if you were selling t-shirts and you were accepting gold as a payment. I mean, think of what that would entail. You would need a little tiny flake of gold to cover your t-shirt price. You'd somehow have to verify that this flake of gold is real. You'd need a way to store your flakes of gold as people were buying t-shirts. Um, and the idea, well, if you're immediately turning it into fiat currency, then you're not really accepting that currency. Yes, you are. I mean, even the shop owner was most likely turn his gold flakes into dollars or rubles or whatever currency he's in, accepting his gold flakes. Because other people aren't accepting it yet. So just because a currency isn't universally accepted doesn't mean it's not a currency. Um, so I believe he's wrong. I believe that, and the idea that it's a bubble. I believe that what's been, and even he has made the point that the crypto markets move significantly faster than stock markets. I believe it's a bubble that has burst multiple times. All of these major corrections are the bubble bursting, and then it coming back. And if you want to talk about bubbles, let's talk about bubbles. If the crypto market is a bubble, where am I supposed to put my money instead? Let's see. I could leave it in dollars. Let's see. Is the US dollar a bubble? Wait, whoa, look. Article after article. The US dollar is a bubble. Inevitable bubble waiting to pop. I could put it into bonds. Whoa, the bond market. It's a bubble. Look. These are all recent articles. 2017. Bond market bubble. Real estate. Overvalued. Real estate bubble. It's a bubble. Go to school, get yourself a student loan, invest in student loans, bubble, the student loan bubble inevitable to pop. Well, there's always the U.S. stock market. Whoa, the stock market's in a bubble, says Alan Greenspan. January, this was just a few weeks ago. We have a stock market bubble. Then we have the gold market, gold, the ultimate bubble. And then this one's my favorite, the diamond market. Well, I could just put it in some investment diamonds. You're talking about a market that is based on the fiction that a rock that is useless is rare. It's not rare. It's just based on the fiction that it's rare, and people buy these rocks that have no real purpose for thousands of dollars. That's not a bubble, and it's existed for about 100 years. So this idea of pointing at the crypto market and saying, no, 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 that's a bubble, when everywhere else you could put your money is also called a bubble. I believe it's the whole idea is absurd. Um, and like I said, I believe, and this idea that it's mostly used for nefarious purposes, I discount that as well, because the internet's main function, and am I the only one who remembers this? When the internet, am I the only one who was on the internet in 1991, 1992? The internet's main purpose back then was porn. So the immediate use cases of very useful technologies usually aren't the greatest, but the legitimate purposes come around pretty quickly. Um, my main objection to what he did here with this article was he talks about crypto for all this time. He builds up 150,000 followers, basically telling these people that he's smarter than them because he points it out in almost every video. And then after forming this huge following and after doing all these videos, he actually calls the investments that they're talking about vapor. He actually uses that word, these all investments are all, it's a bubble that's going to burst eventually, and it's essentially vapor. He makes fun of people who are rooting for the market to go down because they have fiat on the side and they're going to buy more. He makes fun of them, and then at the end of his video he says, but if Bitcoin hits 5,000, I'm going to buy more. Aren't you doing the exact same thing? Obviously, if Bitcoin were to go down to 5,000 and you bought more, you're doing that because you believe it will go back up and you'll have more invested and you'll make more money. So that's exactly what the people who are saying that they're going to put fiat in are going to do. So, like I said, I really do like the guy. I watch all his videos. But this particular video I didn't care for at all. I think, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. He believes all his watchers are blind and that he's the one-eyed man. And then here the one-eyed man is telling them that he's been leading them into damnation this entire time. I don't believe that that's true, and I don't believe that it was something he ever should have said. So, and I don't think it's him just spreading FUD. And I listened to every article he made, every argument he made. I just don't think he's right. So that's my take on it. I only made the video because it was just too much to type. And maybe I'm going to give him a link to it, but I highly doubt he'll ever even watch it. But I thought it should have been said. So that's it. Crypto Stew, signing out.